All right, market update here on the 7th. So yeah, we definitely got an impulse going on here. You can see it pretty clearly. We get 1, 2, and then clearly a third wave, and you can even see the 5 waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hits past the 1.61 fib right there. We bounce up here, does not come into the first wave, and then makes a new low. And then this one right here just broke the parallel line as well. So this is likely wave 1. It's pretty clear 5-wave move. 2, 3, and then we're in a 4th wave right here. So based on this, as long as it does not come up here tomorrow at 516, I would say that this is more than likely to come down here and probably fill that gap at 510. So I'd be looking tomorrow, potentially that. If it does come up and invalidate the move, it could still be a B wave. Like it came to the 1.61 fib, it's still possible it could go like this. So if it does that, that's still bearish though, because that would just mean we're looking at this like that. There's 2 possibilities I see. There's only a few gaps left to the downside. So you have one at 510, you have one at 492. So let's zoom out here now. Now that we know this is an impulse, most likely, it can still be an ABC, but it's more than likely an impulse. What are the options from here? Previous video I went over, I said that this could be a second wave, or it's the end of a B wave. Because this is kind of like ambiguous. We don't know if this is a C wave or if this is a B wave. Makes a big difference because we're either looking at it like this, like that, or we're looking at it like it ended right here, and then this is the first wave, second wave, and then we go up like that. So I think at a minimum, we're going to hit 510. That's the minimum target. And then maximum 492. Is it possible it just completely just goes down, straight down the next couple of days and hits 500 by the end of the week? It's possible, but I would actually lean towards it doing this, because 510, the 1.61 fib, is down here at 500, and it could go down here to 500, bounce, and then 492. And then that would be the end of the 4th wave. And it would fill the last gap. So I don't think it's going to go straight down. I think it's likely if we do go down more, it hits 510 tomorrow, and then bounces back up here to like 522, and then we come back down here and hit 492 like that. And that would probably last into OPEX. If it bounces, if we get that bounce tomorrow and it ends up being an expanded flat right here, if we end up bouncing like this, then I would consider this probably, I would consider this an ABC move then. I would say, okay, this one a little bit longer than the 1.61 fib, but it could still be ABC, ABC, and then we get like 5 waves down here to 510. If that happens, then I'm looking for that to be a second wave. And then I'd be looking for 1, 2, and then take off after that and go to like 570. So a few different options for tomorrow. We'll see. We held the 50. We're below the 20. We'll see which one works out. Let's see if we can get a clue from like NVDA, because NVDA is basically like what the market follows. So NVDA, I've had this as a diagonal for a while. And so that means it's AB, and then we're getting a long 5-wave move. They're all ABC moves. So we have ABC, 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 A, B, C is what I see. Is it possible that it just keeps on going down? I don't think so. I think that it's likely. Well, I guess it depends on the overall market. So we did basically double top. So if this does end up going down, it almost looks like it does look like an inverse head and shoulders right here. You can see. So that was bullish right here, obviously. But now that we've double topped, it's possible that it comes down here. And this is the first wave down. But I still think there's a possibility, or a very good possibility, that we go to 160. And that this ends up going to 136. And then up here to 160, makes an ABC move. This would probably be 5 waves. Why 160? 160 is the 1.61 fib of the A wave. I'm on regular. Yeah. So log chart 164. So this would be A. We'd be looking for B. B has to be an ABC move, so we'd be looking for A, B, C down to 136. And then if you take a parallel line here, 164. So regardless of which one happens, let's say the inverse head and shoulders happens. Look where this went down to. 137, bounced all the way back up to 149. So regardless if I'm wrong about this, I'm still buying down here. And I bought today actually too. I bought 125 shares at 142. So regardless, it comes down here 137. I'm buying because we're probably at the minimum. I'm going to come up here and double top with this. And then if it follows this pattern, just come down here and just keep on going down. So I'll be watching that inverse head and shoulders, and I'll be watching the pattern that I laid out before to 164. Regardless, I am buying in this blue box between 134 and 139. Tesla. I think Tesla is still in a B wave here. You know what this might be doing though? It's either going to be, there's two options here. I think that this is likely, it's likely going to be 5 waves, or it's going to be the B wave like I've talked about. It's hard to say because this could last, like if we go back here and zoom out, this could last like till March. If it wanted to, it could last till March, maybe even April. March 12th. So it can last all the way to March 12th. And so, again, this can still be A, B, and come all the way out here. And this B wave could take a while too. Like it could bounce after the market bottoms and potentially go like this and then come up here farther and then finally come down later in the later in January. It doesn't have to go to all-time highs even if the market goes up much higher. So we'll see which one it is. It's either that or it's a 5-wave move up to 580. It just depends on the overall market. If the market goes to 570, that's a what, like a 10% move? Something like that. So Tesla would have to go up would have to go up 32% to get to 580. Or it could just go up like 15% if the market goes up 10% and get up here to like 455, 460. And then when the market corrects, into March come down here to 350. So I'm not sure which one it is yet. It just depends on how long this fourth wave wants to last. So it's already hit the midpoint, I think. Let's look at that midpoint. So yeah, it's basically already hit the midpoint. So again, it could be first wave, or we're starting a B wave. We come down here into the end of March, April, whatever. So Tesla on the short-term time frame, I still think that this is just a B wave or a second wave. So I think this was a first or an A wave. Right now, this could go like this. It looks like it's potentially going to go like this. And then probably the same as the overall market, like that. And then from there, something like that. The 1.61 fib of the first A wave is at 463. So then, let's just take 463. It's a little bit too far. Oh, look where it goes to. It goes right to the blue box. 356. So yeah, I just showed you that this is probably a B wave. You could probably buy shares here after hours and make a boatload of money. You could probably make, if you bought 100 shares, you could probably make $7 grand over the next, over the next like 7-8 days, maybe a couple weeks, something like that. So if that's what you want to do, I've sold puts on this, so I have calls too, which I don't really recommend because the IV is pretty high, but I'm pretty sure it's going up here. So yeah, up to you. Pretty good buy right here. I think it's going higher, but it's probably going to go down to 380 first, just to let you know. So 380 first, you're probably going to get, again, something like that. The 1.61 fib of this move right here is actually below this at 370. So if we take a parallel line on this one, from the top to the bottom, to get down to this blue box, this would say 417. So it could just go that and then down. So we'll see. I'm pretty bullish on Tesla here. I think 390 is pretty safe, but it's probably going to come down here to 380, 383 before you get the next move higher. I don't think that it's going to go like this. This is what I don't think is going to happen. I don't think it's going straight down here. Be very surprised if that happened. So that kind of gives you an idea of what to expect for the overall market. We're probably going to go to 510 and then bounce. I don't think we're going to go down to 492. All right, coin. Okay, coin's up after hours. This is, well, I think this is a first wave. I've already talked about this being a fourth wave before. And, it definitely made me doubt my count a few times. But this is probably third wave, fourth wave, or fifth wave right here. Potentially it is in a fifth wave. We'll find out after the next high. I do think there's going to be one more high though. And I'd be very surprised if this came down here and broke the low at 246. But then again, if you look at Bitcoin, I'll look at it in a second. Bitcoin might go down to 88,000 or 87,000. So we'll have to watch it and see. I want to see the bounce here. This looked like 5 waves to me, but this also looks like 5 waves to me. So maybe it ends up going like this, like the overall market, like I talked to with Tesla. Maybe it goes like this and then comes down even farther and then takes off up here to 300. The weird thing is that it bounced out of demand to get up here to 290. I was playing calls on that. and then came down here, and I don't think it's in a demand zone right now. I think it's in a 6-hour demand zone, actually. It actually broke below that, so that's not even really valid anymore. We still have this daily supply zone up here. So even if this is a 5-wave move starting a move down, I really think this has to come up here to 300 first. So we'll find out on coin if it's going to end up being a 5-wave move, or is it just going to be an ABC move like this up to 300. This stock is sometimes tricky when you get these moves that are just like straight down. Like this move right here, you had to chase it. If you weren't already in, you're just chasing. You're sitting here like, okay, I'll wait for a pullback to get in. I'll wait for a pullback to get in. I'll wait for a pullback. Where's the pullback? There's no pullback. It goes from 176 to 332 bucks. It doubles in 7 days. So that's, by the way, that's definitely a third wave and likely third wave of a third wave. So this right here is probably the end of the overall third wave, and then you get A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's got to be the fourth wave. Got to be. So I just want to see this bottom hold at 246. And then I really am looking for this to be 5 waves. So my next target would be 324. So it'd look like this. Probably go to like 370. And then that would be 5 waves. So I'm pretty bullish on coin still, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. Bitcoin. Bitcoin straight down 5%. And again, I said this is a bear flag. It's very bear flaggish again. It actually hit the minimum target. But if you look at this whole thing, it looks to me like, let's see, A, B, C, and that's the overall B wave. So you have A, B, C down here. This could be a first wave. So we need to watch coin though and make sure this doesn't happen, because this happens and coin's going much lower. Hopefully it bounces tomorrow. I would be hedging coin because it's a wild card stock and it can go crazy one way or the other. But again, after this, we're going to all-time highs. So if it comes down here, okay, whatever. We're going to go up here next. We're probably going to like 130. So it's a small time to go down, and then all-time highs. AMD, similar to NVDA. So same pattern, in my opinion. Well, we'll see, but it looks like the same pattern to me. We hit above the 129 area, didn't quite get to 134. This looks like it's probably finished. So I think that the most likely scenario from here, let's go to the daily. Most likely scenario is you just come down here. Oops. You come down here to 125 to 121. So it's just going to chop back and forth and down. And then we get either a 5-wave move or we get a ABC move higher. I'd be looking at that point potentially go all the way up here to 141. Or if it comes down here, let's say 123. You're probably looking at least like 137 to 141. The same time that NVIDIA is making its highs. And what have I said for a long time on AMD, what it's going to do? I said it's going to go down to 93 bucks. So again, we have this pattern right here. W, X, Y. This is A, B, C. So we're nearing the end of this. It's going to be a big sell-off, in my opinion, after NVIDIA tops out. And AMD is going to go with it down here to the low 90s. So I'm not shorting really that much right now, but I will be when we get into this blue box. I will be shorting a lot of stuff as long as it goes as planned. And I think that's all I'm going to go over right now. I'll go over EMPH because I had a question about that. EMPH, I think this is probably the low, but you could get this maybe like that, and then up here. It doesn't matter. I think it's going up here to, I want it to be a 5-wave move. If it's not a 5-wave move, okay, whatever. I'm still going to make money. But it'd be nice if this was a 5-wave move and went all the way up to 93 bucks. The problem is I don't think we have time now. 93 bucks is a pretty big move now. That's a 30% move. So I'll be happy if we can get up here into this blue box. And if it's a corrective move, and I'll be able to tell by these parallel lines, if it's a corrective move, then I'd probably take profit up in here and just let the next move play out. No, it doesn't hurt to take profit. So EMPH, this is an impulse, still looking for that C wave higher. It's on the same wavelength now as like AMD and probably NVIDIA as well. Am I forgetting anything? I don't think so. Oh, I bought into Lockheed Martin. I'm down on this, but it's in a 3-month demand zone. I don't care. This is I can hold this for years if I need to. I bought shares. 3-month demand is 442 to 475. It's probably in a 5th wave too. Maybe it's a 3rd wave. But this is a 3-month demand zone. I don't think it's going to go right through this. I think it's likely going to bounce, and then you're going to look at, there's probably some gaps up here. You have gaps at 502, you have a gap at 480, you have a gap at 540, and you have a gap at 611. So lots of gaps. I don't see any gaps below this except for down here at 401, but I don't expect that to hit. It's in a 3-month demand zone. If it does go down there, it's going to bounce first, most likely. So probably bounce back to like 540. So I bought at 475. Bought 43 shares, $20,000. Looking for a bounce, potentially back to 540. I think that's it for this video. Leave me a comment, like, subscribe for more updates, and I'll catch you in the next video. Actually, one more thing, the VIX. The VIX. So I still see this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. So I'd be looking for, if technical analysis worked on the VIX, I'd be looking for something up here at 21 by the 9th. And then that would be the top. And then I'm looking for, and then probably a melt up down to, if this worked, a melt up down to 10 or 11. So that's a pretty substantial melt up, or melt up on the overall market. So I'm going to leave it at that. I think there's probably a little bit more selling this week, maybe after a bounce tomorrow, or it could continue into the morning. That's it. I'll talk to you soon.